Do you want to hear something incredibly bullish from a Ripple employee? Well, you're going to in this video. Ashish Birla announces that Ripple, quote, has their hands full with xRapid customers. Also, in other news, there's somebody out there, I kid you not, has started a petition on change.org to prevent Ripple from selling their escrowed XRP holdings as they become available. Kid you not. I'm going to cover that as well. It's funny, though. It's funny. And then I'll also cover, there's a piece by Cointelegraph posing the question, why is the United States not leading when it comes to crypto regulations? And I've got a handful of experts responding to that particular query. Now, before we get going, if you would please delicately tap that like button. And if you are a fan of Ripple and XRP, well, you must be a gosh darn good person. Go ahead and subscribe to the Moon Lambo channel. You are welcome here, and you are amongst friends. All right, into the content now. Michael iPinky7, he's at iPinky77 on Twitter. He tweeted to Ashish Birla, and also David Schwartz, and, what's this guy's name? It's Evan Schwartz also. Okay, so Ripple employees here. He tweeted out, is xRapid an ILP connector as an interledger protocol connector? Or does it at least act almost identical to one? So he's looking for a technical answer. Look what we got. We did get an answer, but we got a little bit more than that. We got a really bullish tweet out here. At least that's how I'm perceiving it. Ashish Birla did respond to this, and I forget his title. He's Senior Vice President of something. Let me see if it's listed here. Yeah, Senior Vice President of Product at Ripple. I can never seem to remember his freaking title. Anyway, he tweeted in response, it functions as an ILP connector, but not specifically one today. It's something we want to look at in early next year, but we have our hands full with xRapid customers right now, so focused on that. Oh my God! Could you imagine a more bullish tweet from a Ripple employee today? My gosh, that is amazing to me. And so Michael iPinky, he responded, "Wow, many thanks for you taking time to answer." And remember, so Ripple, this technology, it's only been out for 2 years. The beta version of xRapid was launched summer of 2017. The production version of xRapid was launched at the very beginning of October 2018, so a little less than a year ago, and it was at Ripple's the Swell conference that they put together annually. And it was so funny, even leading up to that, there was already a rumor leading up the couple months prior that xRapid was going to go live, and then there actually was this XRP price rally. It was, I remember seeing it as low as 25 cents or so. I want to say it was August of last year, and it ended up spiking up to almost 80 cents. I don't know how many of you remember that. And so when the news came in the beginning of October, there was no price spike. But the truth of the matter was, it was already baked into the price leading up because there was a leak that came out, and the leak was actually true. xRapid actually was about to go into the production version. But yeah, that's about the only time I've seen such major price action on news of any kind related to Ripple. And even at that, it was a leak, so it wasn't even technically confirmed to be true. It was just it did get out, and it just turned out to be accurate. But yeah, so it's been active since then. But amazingly, you'd expect for technology like this, adoption would be slow and then grow exponentially, and you're sort of seeing that. But I got to tell you, from my personal perspective, adoption is going at a pretty impressive pace. I mean, when I first found out about xRapid and that it was still in beta, back when I joined crypto towards the end of 2017, I thought, oh man, this could really be a while. I don't know if we're going to see any banks or entities using XRP for the transfer of anything in the next few years. I mean, it was an unknown. It was a question mark. There were no xRapid customers. And so I was kind of bracing myself for that. And then you get the production version of xRapid launching in October of 2018. It's been less than a year, and I announced on this channel when word got out, there was a Ripple employee, that I can't remember who now, stated publicly within the last, 6 weeks or so, something like that there are over 20 xRapid customers, actually. There are over 20 xRapid customers already live using the system today. Now, we don't know who most of them are, and that's really not too surprising to me. I think at some point it'll get to the point where it's like no big deal. It's going to be so commonplace. It's going to be no big deal when new xRapid customers are added. But if you're jumping on and utilizing pioneering technology like this for whatever, whether you're a remittance company or a bank, whatever you are, I could see many of those types of companies not wanting to announce because they don't want their competitors to know exactly what they're doing. That makes sense to me. And so actually the ones that have come out and been very public about it from the beginning, especially the ones that piloted, you can remember Mercury FX, the remittance company, they were one of the first that I can recall anyway, just off the top of my head, to announce, hey, yeah, we're looking into this. And then they did end up going live in a production version. But they're one of the few that was just like, yeah, this is awesome. We're doing it. We're jumping into it. Everybody else is more hush-hush about it, which I completely respect, by the way. I just like that there's actual adoption here, and you will see volume increase as a result of this over time. And you're not going to see it explicitly, even though there are connectors via exchanges. Obviously, those are pools of liquidity. But another fascinating concept that I don't know that I've talked about on this channel, at least not recently, is there will be liquidity providers outside of exchanges. Also, there will be businesses that are just purely liquidity providers, and then retail speculators like you and me, we don't go there to buy and sell. We're not contributing to that particular liquidity or any volume associated with that. And so in those instances, if those liquidity providers are there solely for the purpose of providing liquidity for xRapid enabled customers, those particular transactions would appear, of course, on the XRP ledger, but it would not at all affect market price, and you wouldn't see that in the exchange volume. So that's the fascinating thing, is the ecosystem is developed over time. Yes, there are traditional exchanges which are utilizing xRapid, and you'll see volume there. But you're not going to necessarily see volume in places like CoinMarketCap unless the metrics utilized to measure that change at some point, because again, it's only going to solely appear on the XRP ledger itself. And so it depends on how these entities are actually going to be compiling such data. But just looking forward, so it's going to be really hard. My point in bringing this up is it's going to be hard to really get a handle on exactly how much volume is flowing through. Presumably, Ripple would have much better metrics for figuring that all out because it's going through their software. But for people on the outside, presumably a little bit more difficult. So we're watching things like this. But luckily, there are people out there who, from a technical perspective, really know what they're doing and can track stuff like that. Because when it comes to understanding code and looking at all that type of stuff, like, it's not my cup of tea. It's not where I excel. So I'm appreciative of that happening. I wanted to cover this too. So Alex Cobb. This is actually where I first saw it, so I wanted to give credit here because this is the first place I saw it. And then, as I was scrolling through my Twitter feed early this morning, it popped up organically, which is not surprising because I only follow XRP people. Well, some people that are just in crypto, but it's almost everybody I follow on Twitter. It's just people within the XRP community, and it's good because it helps me stay apprised of what's going on. And I check XRP news multiple times throughout every day because I'm a major XRP dork, and that's just how it is. I can't help it. But this is a tweet from Alex Cobb. He writes, "Wow, the news on XRP beats every single crypto out there. What happened to nobody is going to use XRP?" Well said, Mr. Cobb, indeed. So here's this piece, and this is short, so I just wanted to read through it real quick, but he titled it, "Ripple's Ashish Burla confirms they have their hands full with xRapid customers." And the piece begins, this is going to be the short and sweet for XRP investors. "As we know, Ripple has more than 20 financial institutions using xRapid, and they are scaling the volume every single day." And then he's got the screen capture from Michael I. Pinky and Ashish Burla, which I already read to you. And then he writes, "Tell me just doesn't put the biggest smile on your face. I like to see that Ripple is busy integrating xRapid, which exclusively uses the greatest digital asset ever created. xRapid is a revolutionary, game-changing platform that institutions clearly are using. XRP will be the standard." Here, Mr. Cobb, I'm with you 100%. And this is just the beginning. I'm telling you, I'm not at all surprised that they have their hands full with xRapid customers, because what it comes down to is utility. If you can actually save money by utilizing this technology, utilizing XRP as a bridge currency, and it provides a better customer experience for your customers, of course it makes sense to adopt it. It is that simple, and it is that game-changing. This is not some marginal increase for most for many corridors, especially if you're a remittance company or bank, as it pertains to cross-border settlement. This is not some marginal increase, and it's a big deal. It's a big deal. And so I'm happy to sit back and wait, because I understand what this means for the price of XRP long term. Because I understand that it's not the activity itself on the XRP ledger or via XRP being utilized on xRapid enabled exchanges that will affect the price. That's not what does it. It's that there has to be initial market value of XRP in order for the banks and remittance companies to utilize XRP. But it's almost like a reinforcement mechanism that's kind of cyclical, because now that XRP had its own initial value before xRapid even existed, now that we see it being adopted, that will provide confidence for not just us, but future investors as well. But many people that don't even know that cryptocurrency or XRP exists, people are going to be getting exposure to this asset class. And so I insist, my firm opinion anyway, is, and it's not financial advice, but I firmly believe that as you see more and more adoption, of course with Ripple, but with other developers building on top of the XRP ledger over time, you will continue to see an increased value in XRP. And I really believe, I want to say it, I say it fairly frequently, the all-time high of $3.92 of XRP, which is what's currently reported on livecoinwatch.com, that will not be the all-time high forever. Most certainly not. I just don't believe it for a moment. People are going to want exposure to this asset class, and those cryptocurrencies that have utility are the ones that will stay in power. XRP is one of them, and this is absolutely, again, when you're talking about a brand new asset class technology that is this revolutionary, man, we have not seen, like, the future highs are going to be mind-bending from my perspective, because we haven't even, as an asset class, at the all-time high of the asset class, haven't even hit $1 trillion yet. You know, and you're talking about gold. Gold is worth, what, $8 trillion on its own? I mean, gosh, we are nowhere near this. You just get financial institutions getting just a little exposure, just putting in just 1, 2, 3% of their the assets that they could invest anywhere, putting that into crypto. Just imagine what that would do. You're already talking about a multi-trillion-dollar market cap. And so I see real adoption like this, and I say, yes, XRP, absolutely. I'm so happy to put money into this that I am willing to lose on the off chance I'm wrong. I am Mr. XRP Bull, but I personally I'm only willing to put in what I'm willing to lose just on the off chance I'm wrong, because if you're one of those people that put everything in, even though I believe that you're right and you're probably going to do really well, like, to me, it would just be too much to risk the just in case. What if there's something that I really did miss or something horrific happened? It would be too devastating. So as a result, I don't do that. And I understand that I could be looking back 10 years and I'll be like, yeah, I guess I wish I had put more, sort of. But I want to be able to sleep. Like, I got to be able to sleep at night, you know? I got to be able to live day to day without panicking. And I have a lot of fun following this stuff. So for me, I'm doing the right thing. If you putting in a ton is what you think is right, then I guess go for it. I'm not advising that, but you do you, man. All right, now check this out. This is hilarious. I got to say at the outset here, so this is a tweet from Crypto Bitlord. He's a pro XRP guy, but he likes to just, like, rib people. And so he'll have on occasion anti-XRP tweets, and that's why I'd see him from time to time on my feed, and I just took him at his word, because there's no indication this is a joke. But I'm telling you, he riles people up, and later on he's like, guys, I was just kidding, of course. And then he has a bunch of pro XRP tweets too. So here's his tweet, though. Again, keep in mind, he is not serious. He just wants to get you. He's trolling you, absolutely. But he tweeted out, as you know, Ripple continued dumping billions and billions of XRP on the market, crashing the price. I decided to make a change to stop Ripple dumping on us. I'm not going to click on the change.org piece because it doesn't matter, but it is a joke. and so at this point, since I know he's trolling, I can just laugh at it. But at first I was like, what the hell is wrong with this guy? And so I wanted to share with you, though, there were a couple of responses. It brought actually thoughtful conversation. That's the other reason I wanted to cover it, thanks to Galgatron. There's somebody asked a question. It's named, does this pass? And tweeted out, am I right in thinking the network could vote with 80% agreement? Ripple's escrow could be locked up completely with zero allowed to be sold. And then he tagged Galgatron. And then Galgatron responded, no, 80% of validators could technically approve an amendment that would destroy Ripple's XRP. And then somebody named Shane wrote, people would run a mile if that ever happened. They'd want nothing to do with a network that can delete wealth like that. How Ripple spends their supply is their business, so long as no one messes with mine. And then Galgatron responded, that's the point, though. The premise is that if 80% of the validators approve something, it's in the best interest of the XRP ledger. To say this is a point of weakness is to suggest the very unlikely scenario that 80% of validators suddenly become malicious despite being vetted. And so, guys, that's why I wanted to use this as an opportunity to also state a point, because I know most people didn't even realize this is possible, but a decentralized system is only decentralized insofar as it will behave in to the benefit of the majority, or those. In the case of XRP, there's the 80% threshold. Okay. And that is the case. And so if those 80% believe that's what's in the best interest, whatever it is, then you can actually vote and approve something like that. But of course, you would kind of imagine that if there are validators running this, that presumably they hold XRP2, and you can imagine how it would wreak havoc on the entire system, if they did that. And so that's the thing. It's kind of like conceptual. You could imagine the way in which a government can control money, so there can still be trust, even though technically governments can abuse. The beauty of this is you're talking about conceptually a decentralized validators manipulating in what we would perceive as a negative way. Which is worse, a decentralized entity with technically the ability to do it, or a central authority with the definitive ability to do it? So, food for thought, man. All right, on to the next piece here. This is from XRP Crow. This guy's awesome. He puts together the best infographics. And he wrote this: XRP is gaining momentum. Its usage and adoption are on the slow but steady rise. And so I wanted to share this with you. It's and I will link below, of course. This is an infographic of the entities that are using XRP, accepting XRP, and testing XRP. And if you're not driving, please look at this. But if you are driving, eyes on the road, motorist. Hands at 10 and 2 on the wheel. But you can look at this. It's just amazing. This is real world adoption, and we'll see. There are a lot of developers building on top of the XRP ledger for different things, and I don't expect all of them to be viable ideas long term. I mean, something as revolutionary as what blockchain offers. I mean, you're building out an ecosystem, but not all ideas are going to have staying power. Even if you just have one, though, here's the neat thing in my mind. If you have just one idea that has legit staying power and offers utility, that one reason is enough for the entire crypto asset class to exist and have genuine value and price on an open market. Just one. That's all it freaking takes. And there are more. There's more than one. But here's a list of those using XRP today. So I want to share it with you. Last piece, and then I'll wrap up the video. This is from Cointelegraph. Why is the U.S. not yet a leader in crypto regulation? And I'm going to jump down here. I don't want to read the opening piece, but they have different people, so I want to read just a couple of these. And here is a comment from Julie Stitzel, Vice President, United States Chamber of Commerce, Center for Capital Markets Competitiveness. The United States' history of adopting and amending legal frameworks in the financial sector have resulted in a robust regulatory structure that enables market stability and effectively manages risk. Although the digital assets market is still nascent, there is a risk and concern that the United States may be left behind, missing an opportunity to cultivate innovation, create jobs, and grow the economy by leveraging the emerging technology. As the largest economy in the world, the United States must think differently about how we apply existing regulatory and supervisory principles to digital assets, including cryptocurrency. Appropriately classifying digital assets and determining the federal entity with the jurisdiction to regulate and supervise them is one way to provide regulatory clarity for innovators and signal that the United States is a leader in the digital asset space. And, I've commented on this before, too. There are so many different branches of the United States government that want their hands on the regulatory aspect of cryptocurrencies. It's kind of crazy. Here's now what Heath Tarbert, chairman of the United States Commodity Futures Trading Commission, has to say on the topic. U.S. markets are the global standard with respect to their breadth, depth, and integrity. This is the result of a careful balance of innovation, well-calibrated regulation, and a pro-business environment. While the U.S. regulatory landscape is by no means perfect, there are always trade-offs with any system. United States regulators have been careful not to stifle innovation during the development of the nascent space. As we move forward, applying solid principles-based regulations that appreciate the transformational potential of new technologies, such as crypto assets and other 21st century commodities, will be key to ensuring America's free enterprise system remains the envy of the world. Well, I better wrap up this video. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo!